by end of this year. I'm still framing it, and I don't know how many of you will agree, but I had a plan that we might start doing some actual requirements dev as a team here in these meetings, maybe, if that makes sense. Once in 3 weeks or once in a month or something like that. We'll use GitHub to maintain source code. We all will be able to divide the pieces that we are writing, and in this meeting we can utilize that time to maybe see is there a better style of writing this thing or not, because I think in Business Central your coding experience is not that important. It's more important that what you are writing is written in the right way or not. Like that,
100% agreed.
I'm pretty sure everybody who have worked in NAV or Business Central surely knows how to write the code. Some way or other, they'll achieve what need to be achieved.
Yes.
But then I also see some code, even from different people, where I'm pretty sure that there is way better ways to write this code. And I'm not just talking about performance, but it's also about readability and is it upgradable, because we all have to think about that style of writing code, because that's where the product is moving. You can't write a code and say, okay, this will work for next 5 years, because that will not be there in next 5 years for sure.
Exactly. Right.
Okay, so yeah, that's a good discussion, and I'll engage on it anytime anyone wants about it. But let's start the meeting. So this is our 59th BC Open discussion, and today we'll be talking about what's new in 2021 release wave 2. Semantics. If you are new in this meeting and don't want to get into hassle of registering every week, you can drop your name and email in the chat. Otherwise, this page will get updated mostly after this meeting, and you can go every week and register on this page. So let's talk what's new in this week, and I'm pretty sure most of us know about it. Business Central 19 is available for all the countries which were supported in Business Central 18. There are 7 countries which will be added in November. I don't remember the name, but there are 7 new countries where Business Central will be available starting November. Following the COVID rules, Microsoft is still doing a virtual launch event, which is great. And if you haven't attended Business Central 18 launch event, that was a great place to learn so many things. On the similar lines, there is a new launch event. Registrations are not yet open, but if you click on this link or go to this link, you will find the content, what they will be doing. Those will be recorded session, which you can watch later. But I'm not sure how long they stay on the website, but that's a great source of info about what's, they sometimes even go into deep stuff about how this feature have changed and what are the ramifications if you were using it in a different way in past. So do register for it. It's, I guess, somewhere in end of October or something like that, or mid of October. Great news for Indian customers. There's a migration path available. I've just read about it. I'm still waiting for articles from Microsoft how that will be achieved, because that's super interesting for me as an upgrade team member in my job, that how Microsoft will take someone from 2016 to Business Central without having an intermediate of BC40. Have they built something which can replicate data from Business NAV 2016, or they have step up something in the middle? And Sandeep said, you wanted to add something on that?
Articles are available, but unfortunately, the migration toolkit is not completely released. The first part that will transfer the data from 2016 tables to temp tables is not released yet. The second part, which will happen in Business Central, is available. Articles are already there. Articles were published some 4 days ago, 4-5 days ago.
Oh, that's interesting. And it's not part of the DVD?
So unfortunately, the part of the DVD is the part of the Business Central. The FOB file.
So step 1, yeah, okay.
The step 1 is that's not available, and I'm heard of unofficially it will come with 19.1.
Oh man. Oh,
And
19.1. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
19.1 is also I have heard uh, unofficially will come within a week.
Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, because and it is taking it to where? Nav 2016 to Business Central 19
No,
on-prem.
14. 14. First 14. W1. Articles are
Okay.
available.
Oh, that's good. I'll review it, and
I
if
can share the link.
required, yeah, if required, we can play with it with the Kronos database someday.
The
I'll
first
be
part
super
was not
interested.
available. Otherwise, I would have done it today.
Okay, cool. That's good. Yeah, just share the link. I'll watch it, read it after this meeting maybe. Okay, so on-prem DVDs are available for download. They were not available for first few hours, but now they are. I'm using Docker, so I don't download DVDs. But yeah, if required, this is what happened in big last week or at the end of the week. But let's talk about what's new. And there were some topics that I guess some people here in the meeting have pinged me somewhere and wanted to talk about it. So let's see how long we can go. Otherwise, if the slide, whatever is in the slide, doesn't cover the whole time, then we'll go into the release note and we'll pick topics from there. Now, the first one that I saw there is add non-inventory item on requisition and planning worksheet, which is, let me open the Business Central here. Okay. So if you are on Business Central 18.4 or whatever the 18 versions are, you can't go and add a non-inventory or the service items in requisition worksheet. The way it works is in this page, there will be a filter when you check it on Business Central 18.4 to show only items which are set to be inventory items. So like I've created this non-inventory item, which is selected here, type to be non-inventory or service. So till Business Central 18.4 or 18, I should say, the only inventory items were available to be added into requisition or planning worksheet. But with version 19, they have removed that flag from here and also added it here. So you can add those items and you can assign the quantities that you need, and then it'll get transferred to your purchase order if you're creating a purchase order from here. Let's attach a vendor. Okay. Okay. Let's do carry out action message. Okay. And this get moved to the purchase orders. So if your customer is using what do you call that, requisition or planning worksheet, now they can, and the only catch here is that the calculate plan option will not consider those. I guess you need to add them manually, but they can be added here, and then they can be part of your transactions as as you deal with inventory items in the same way. The second feature, which is, I forgot to maybe add it here, but they also allow you to add locations to non-inventory item. If you don't know it, you might have to go back into Business Central 18 if you have a Docker. Uh, and when you create a sales order or a purchase document, you can select item, and this was available earlier also, that you can also select a non inventoryable item, but you cannot assign a location to that item till now in Business Central 18. But starting Business Central 19, you can do that. And the thing is that it also is available when you post it on your item ledger entry. So you can actually treat your non-inventoryable item as you do with your inventory items or any other lines on your sales order. So this gets posted, and then this gets available into change that, right? Fine entrance. Okay. It's available on your, oh, this is an invoice. Sorry. Let's go back to my items. check. I've sold it. That's some quantity. And you will see that the location is also available here. So the location mapping to non-inventoriable and service item is now available with the center, which was not available till now. Anyone know how to use this? As I said, I have very limited. When I talk about application feature, I might not be the right person to talk about it. But anyone know how it will change?
Yeah, and in fact, there's a small point. This change might have been necessitated or maybe has been done because of Indian localization, where they have
Okay.
already introduced this feature in some 18.3 or something.
Oh, okay. That's
So we are
okay.
using it for one of the customer already. So they use non-inventory and service item with locations. The GST's calculations are dependent upon location.
Okay. So yeah, that might have been picked from India localization and has been part of the main release. Now, this was one of my favorite customization I used to do in Nav. As a not a favorite one, but maybe a very common one, where a customer needs a default line on sales or purchase document. Now, that's an option available on your sales and purchase setup. That what would be your document default line type? And this might sound silly, but for some customers who create so many sales orders or purchase or sales orders daily, for them the time of creation of sales order is very important. And if somebody will have to click to choose a particular, let's say to choose item because the default is blank in NAV or in business center it's comment, then it wastes that much amount of time. So this option is available on your sales as well as on your purchase setup, where you can define what is your default line type. So whatever is selected here, that will apply to your sales and purchase document. So when you go ahead and create a new sales order, the first line will be already tagged as type item. Rest, it will behave as it is, as it was working in the past. It will take whatever is on the above line. So just for the first line, the default value will be picked from the sales and receivable, and for purchase from purchase and payable. So in the second line, if I choose a resource, it will just copy that. So those rules remain same. But just for the first line, with the default option you want, you can set it on your sales uh, and also on your purchase setup. I actually reverted one of my customer mod who is in Business Central SaaS and wanted this as soon as this was announced, right? But this is coming back. Yeah, Sam.
How can you prevent actually a user from changing the type? If it's set to resource as default, how can you prevent them from changing it to item or GL and GL account?
You want to use only one type, more or
Yeah,
less?
if it's set on the sales and the receivable setup as default would be item, then I
Right.
don't want the user to update it to resource, for instance.
You hold it by permissions.
Oh,
Right. That's it. That's the idea of adding something on the setup. That setups will not have permission by all the users, right?
okay.
Yeah. So you control your, let's say, every setup should be controlled with a permission. Okay, let's move ahead. It's a slide deck. Okay, here it is. Keep posting setup and dimension issues from going wrong. Okay, this is good, as in it's a small change, and most of these are small changes, but it makes sense the way it's trying to kind of educate users when their setups are wrong or when there's a wrong mapping. Okay, mapping now. Okay, so it gives you detailed error log of how to do it in your error window. So okay, there's some problems with my Docker. Let me switch to my other environment. Okay. So if I'm on my sales order, let's create a new sales order. And okay, let me pick customer and just for understanding this feature, if I go ahead and change setup here, okay, or it also works on dimension. I don't have to go that confusing. Okay. So if I go ahead and define dimensions, this hard time. My best friend is this default. Sorry, let's see. 19. So if I define for this customer that business group is, let's say, mandatory, and because I've already created the document, I'm pretty sure, and it's code mandatory with a blank value, so for sure there is no value on that. And if I choose an item, okay, choose a quantity, and if I try to post this, there will be an error, as we know. But if you look at this, and let me zoom this in, it gives you all kind of detail, not just the error message. It tells you that you need to choose a dimension for this and from where it is coming from, the default dimension on your customer card. So it gives you all that detail that this is coming from a default dimension 18, which is customer, then the customer number and uh, the setup of business group, which is set to be code mandatory, and you kept it empty. Let's move ahead. Now here is additional information which tells you that the dimension used are invalid. That means you need to go and correct it. If you have to send it to a developer, after reading all this, you can click on this call stack and it gives you the whole code that caused that issue. Now think about the possibilities where you build a custom functionality for a user which breaks because he doesn't understand how it runs, or if it breaks, there's not long conversation that he need to do with you before you start working on the fix. He can just send you the whole call stack, how that has been called. And if you read this, it also gives you the extension from where it is, navigating through. So if there is a custom extension from you, it'll also navigate to that point and gives you the whole call stack there. If you don't understand it, I'm pretty sure that Microsoft is trying to link it to the right documentation. Here it is, which is troubleshoot the dimension errors. So with this feature, what Microsoft is trying to do is trying to give more and more info to the user so that they can fix their issues by themselves. With this little uh, education on the error and providing you all kind of details as user to understand where you went wrong. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes, it does. It will help.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they are surely working on the error side super, in a great way, which seems super cool because that reduces the time spent on solving an issue. Okay, so let's move ahead. Rounding of base unit of major. I guess we talked about it when we saw the release notes in the way. But now let's see what it is, and I'll show
Sharon, one
you.
last point, if you don't mind.
Sorry.
One last point. The call stack was already available. It was just displaced now. It's available on the dimension, if you will. If you go to the question mark on the top of the screen, you go to help and support, and then view the last known error, and you can see the call stack.
No, so there are two things. When you're, let me go there. When you go to this area, there were two kinds of error, right? And let me show you.
View last known error. You can see the call stack.
This is the same call stack. Let me see.
It's definitely the
Yes.
same. It's displays, misplacing, if you will.
Yeah, but I think what Microsoft is trying to explain that I guess people are not going here, as in we understand it maybe as developers and and partners, because I also have to explain it to the functional consultants, because there is so much to understand at this point in business center. I'm pretty sure everybody will agree. There's so many things that are changing that it's very hard to digest everything which is changing. So when last week somebody came to me as a functional consultant and said, I need an environment where I can debug. Like, why you want to debug? And there's an error message which I cannot track, and I need to provide that info to developer where it is breaking. And then I showed him that you can use the latest error thing, and I'm pretty sure he heard about it, he knew about it, but then because as things are changing super fast, it's hard to remember all these. Like, you don't even have to go there, the latest error is also attached here on your search menu, right? So I'm pretty sure in the similar way, Microsoft is also understanding that because things are changing so fast, it's hard to navigate to different pages to find out what was the call stack and how it happened. So let's merge that all into this error window, which gives you all the info or insights about it. Okay, so what you are discussing? Oh yeah, rounding of base unit of major. So I'll surely need help, but let's have a look. So when you go to your item card, and let's pick an item here. Okay, and let's go to, where is the base unit of major? Item unit of major. More option, item, no, where they moved it. This is the thing that I don't like. Where
You can go
is
from the purchase unit to menu. On the main
purchase?
screen. Go on the main replenishment tab.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Just
So here is item unit of major, right? Now what they have done is added this field called quantity rounding precision, and here is the example that they are giving you, which is specifies how to round quantities while converting base unit of major, such as from box to each, one on a order. For example, each is the base unit of major, but you also sell items in a box, which is where there are 6 pieces. If you only have 5 of the items available and you must sell in boxes, enter 1 to ensure that after conversion you will get 5 each and not 4.9998 each. So let's test this out. It says if you have and let me copy this, and let's test this scenario. I actually haven't. Let me put this in notepad here.
better to create a new item and then test it, because you need to have a higher unit of measure. Box should be there. The base
I
unit of
can,
measure should be box.
oh, okay. So let's create an item. Okay. Okay. Pretty sure the template would have filled everything else that we needed. Let me here and add one more unit of major, which is box and box one. Okay, and then let me change the base unit of major to be box. Okay. Now let's assume when I uh, do transactions in pieces, I have what, 6 pieces in a box, right? And then I need here a rounding precision of 1, it says. What is the max value that it supports? That's a good one. 100? No. The value must be less than or equal to 1. Okay. So it can be max till 1, which is from points to 1. That way it'll round it. So now let's try to purchase this item first. Okay. 1000. Okay. What happened? Okay. So let's go into purchasing and let's create a purchase order. Okay, let's pick a random vendor. Okay. And let's try to purchase this item. Let's do let's do 5 box. Let me guess. I guess what we saw in the Microsoft release note is you can actually enter a. So let's assume the 5 boxes will have what, 30 pieces, right? I'm assuming 6. Yeah, that's what we said here. So if I'm trying to purchase it in pieces, then I need to have it rounded with as an it should be 30 pieces for 5 boxes. If I just had 29 pieces, I can do something like this. That will be 29 out of 30. That will round it to what? This is 9667. Is that the right thing to do? I was expecting 30 and I got 29. I'm receiving 29. Quantity. Should I do 29 by 30 or 30 by 29? I'm a little bit confused. I'm trying to see that I'm one short. Okay. So the idea is that when I purchase it in pieces, it should have 6 pieces in a box. So that will give me 30 pieces, which will make it 5 box. But and assume that I'm dealing it on warehouse at this point. While I'm receiving it, I saw that there are only 29 pieces, not 30. So I should be doing 29 by 30. I guess so. Right, let's see what happens. Now let's try to post it and let's see what happens. Post. Okay. Now this get posted as what? 0.9967. Let's go and see the ledger to see how many. Okay, let me go to item directly to see where it is. There are 6 boxes in hand.
So the mistake we have done is for pieces we should have written 1 divided by 6. Then it would have corrected it.
We should have done.
I was just testing it.
Okay.
I was testing it. So 1 by 6 if you do, just make a new item. Take box as a base unit of measure and pieces where you have written 6 instead of 6. Write it 1 divided by 6.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So if I create a new one, which is the box one, In the pieces, we are saying we will do what? 1 by 6?
1 by 6.
In the pieces.
Yes. But that is what the exact calculation will be. If you have one box, that means we will have 6 pieces.
Okay.
Now when you do this, this pieces will get converted in. If you buy one box, it may or may not result into 6 pieces, because points 1,667 multiplied by 6 will not be 1.
Right.
So
But then I cannot do the quantity rounding precision if I'm changing it to, let's say, 1 by 6, you said, right? Because
that,
it says what? The quantity per unit of measure does not align to the quantity rounding precision to 1 for current base unit of measure. Let's see. Let me see the Microsoft link, what they are trying to explain there.
Well, you could try the rounding precision 0.01, the quantity rounding precision.
1, 6. No, it's, I guess, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decimals.
Well, so the pieces to 60, not 60. One box for 60 pieces.
One box for
60.
60 pieces. No. Let's open Microsoft article. What is that title? Base unit of measure.
Actually, I was wrong. It's actually 0.001. Try it, please.
Okay. 0.01. And let me refresh this page first.
And then make. That's just 1 for 1. No.
No.
Nah. Damn it.
Okay, let's see. We'll see the Microsoft article. If I find it. Well, this is something I guess somebody also commented on the video when we discussed about it. 18.5 2021 release wave 1. Okay, let's see here. Okay. If we come to Business Central, that is Business Central. Power Automate, Power Platform, PDF, release plan. Okay. Okay. Commerce, SMB, Business Central. There we are. And then I'm pretty sure it's an application with, where is that? Unit of measure, rounding for base unit of measure. You can specify rounding precision for base unit of measure to guide users on what to enter for a given business process and reduce rounding issues.
this is
Sorry?
this is totally different from what we were expecting.
Exactly.
Okay.
Say it's this is the last attempt. One box for 1999 pieces, and the rounding precision would be, as I said, 0.001. So that would be one box for 19 actually .99. 19.99. No, 19.
19.99.
Yeah.
What that will become? Okay, let's read it through and understand what it is. When an item serves different purposes, you can set alternate unit of measure for it. The base unit of measure for item defines how you store it. And the alternate unit of measure defines how you handle it in purchase, production, or sales. For example, you may buy item on pallets and only use single piece in production. When you use alternate unit of measure, the value in quantity per unit of measure field helped calculate the quantity in base unit of measure, which can lead to the rounding issues. For example, you are receiving one box that contains 6 items from your supplier. When the item arrives at the warehouse, you discover one of the 6 items is missing. You decide not to post receipt of one box, but to change the quantity to 5 by 6 pieces instead. That will be converted to 4.998 pieces.
But it takes 5 pieces, not 4.99.
To receive the whole number, the quantity rounding precision lets you specify a value that will, for example, convert the quantity to 5 pieces. Okay, so let's try to replicate this. I guess it is talking about the purchase scenario, right? When you're trying to receive that. So it says that you're receiving one box which has 6 items from the supplier, which is supposed to have 6 items, I'm saying. So let's do one box and 6 pieces. Let me know wherever you're thinking I'm going wrong. So I said this, and then I'm trying to use this item on my purchase document. Let's see what happens. Let's see it again. One more thing. When items you can, for example, you are receive when item serves a different. Okay, the alternate unit of handling purchase. So the alternate one is to be handled in purchase, production, and sales. Item on pallets. Okay, let's keep that. Okay, so let's now go ahead and create a purchase order. A new one. I do purchase this item. Okay. Now, instead of the base unit of measure, I'm trying to buy it on pieces. And what it is saying is, because when you are receiving it, you see that you don't receive the whole thing. So you can put 5 by 6 pieces instead. So I'll change it to 5 by 6, which converts it to 0.883. That's okay. Now to receive the, but why it changed? It says that will convert the receipt of 4.998. Am I doing completely wrong somewhere? 5 by 6 is converted to this. Is my setup wrong, guys? Should per unit of measure is 1 and then this is 6, which is correct. The base unit of measure is box. Let's see what happens. It will only receive what? One box? Yeah, it'll receive one box if everything goes good.
Saurabh, I think you just need to reverse the base unit of measure. It should be in pieces and you should purchase in boxes, and you can put 5 by 6 boxes. In that case, the pieces might vary.
I doubt, because 5 boxes will have what?
So if you put an item unit of measure, if you put base unit of measure as pieces, then box should be 5, right? And when you are posting this thing, whatever you're doing is, I mean, if you say like this particular thing, this particular example, let's say boxes pieces and pieces are boxes, right? In that case, in your PO, you are purchasing in pieces, right? So 5 by 6. So instead of putting it to one single part, it is converting it to a different. So
let's receive it,
right?
because it says you should see it after receiving. So let's see it what happens. So I have received it.
No, you can see that quantity base. Now, whatever the quantity base, that is going to be an item ledger
No,
entry.
see here. What happened here? Quantity is 5 here, which we just did, right? And the quantity came as 5. What is the unit of measure for this? There's no unit of measure in this. Let me navigate to this entry. This
I
is
could
coming.
add the fields, right?
Sorry?
You could add the field.
Right, let me see here. So yeah, here it says 0.8333 pieces, but here it says, and let me zoom this in, required.
5 boxes.
Inspect page and data.
The item ledger entry always have base unit of measure.
Right. Unit of measure is posted as pieces. And the quantity per unit of measure is 6. So it is showing me that it received what? 5 pieces.
Yes. 5 pieces.
Right?
It means 5 pieces.
Yeah, it received 5 pieces, which was what I changed there. But instead of, okay, so it didn't earlier version, did it used to round it off, or was it converted to the base unit of measure always? Because in my receipt, in my purchase receipt, it's showing me that it has received what? Here it says the quantity is 0.8333. And in item ledger entry, where my inventory is, it shows me 5. Okay, maybe need to read more about it. What it is doing. It's not much here.
When you enter the item unit of measure, it is always cross. You have to read it in the crossways. Like so, ideally the 6 should be on the top and 1 should be on the down. Meaning 6 pieces is going into one box. That is how, if you see, our 0.8999 is multiplied with 6, and it shows as value as 5 in the base unit of measure.
Okay, so let's give it a last try. If it happens, otherwise I'll see what I can do. S3. Okay. Come down here. So go ahead, Balaji. What you're saying?
Yeah, when you enter the item unit of measure, so yeah, you take, for example, box as your base unit of measure, and so you have to read it in crosswise, meaning you have to put 6 on the top and 1 on the bottom. So which means read it crosswise. 6 pieces will go into one box.
No, it says quantity per unit of measure must be equal to 1 in
No,
item unit of measure.
yeah, it's the other way around. One box for 6 pieces.
Right. You can't do it reversal. Because it is set to be base unit of measure. So it'll always be 1.
Yeah,
Okay.
it means the base unit of measure will always have 1.
Yeah, it'll always have 1.
Yeah.
You can't just change that. Okay, so now that's gone. Okay. So, okay, let's do one more thing. Let's go to the earlier item that we created and let's change the rounding precision on that and see what happens. Okay. Which was 1002? No, that was 1001. Okay. Now, if I come here and change it to 0.01, let's try to do a similar kind of transaction, which we did. Okay, purchase orders. Let's create a new and let's try to copy document from my CTC. Let's pick the last one. Okay. Lines and okay. Done. So it came here. Okay, that's the wrong item. Okay. I should be changing it to 1002. 1001. Okay. That's the item. And then I need, what's that? You were saying 5x6? Oh no, not for the box. Okay. Let's change it to
Well, at least
pieces.
I've been able to do it.
Sorry?
I've been able to do it. What they are actually trying to do.
Okay, what they are saying? Tell us because.
Should I share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay. Fine. So we have got this item called new test 70,065 base
Okay.
unit of measure. And
I'm
just
not
let me
seeing
know
this.
if the font is small.
Okay.
So, and when we go here, purchase unit of measure, I defined it like this: 1/6, 6 pieces in the box,
Okay.
and we purchase rounding position 1. And then when I go and purchase it, invoice number, new test.
Mm-hmm.
And here I say I am purchasing in boxes, and because it came with a 1 piece less, so I've entered this. So technically, this should mean multiplied by 6. This should
Right.
come to 4.998, but now it will convert this thing
Okay.
into 5.
When we post it, it'll convert it to 5. It'll
Yes.
not keep it as 4.99.
So if I go and now find entries, I go in value entries and then navigate to
Item
my
ledger.
item
Yeah.
ledger. So they've changed it a bit. Where's the item ledger
It
entry
should be
number? Yeah.
end at the
Yeah.
end. Yeah.
Now it's not open. They've changed it. In any case, we go directly from here. Just so this is my item. Now the quantity is 10.
Okay.
Rounded off to 5. 5.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, we were doing, I guess, the same thing, guys.
Right, sort of. I was just telling the same thing that
Right.
weird.
I was not sure that what we were expecting. As in, my assumption was that it'll round it off on the lines when we are, when we are creating the document. But as Sandeep sir is saying, it actually rounds it up on the ledgers and doesn't round it off during the transaction. Okay, Sam, you have any questions on it? I guess we wanted to talk about it last week, right? Does that clarify?
It was clear, yeah.
Okay, so let's move ahead and see something else. What's there? Okay, I'm pretty sure on the Teams integration, those who have created Dockers or created environment for Business Central 19 would surely would have seen that in every page in Business Central now, there is a share button on the top, which allows you to share it to Teams. It's straightforward. You don't have to worry about if you're creating a custom page. When you click on it, it opens your Microsoft Team dialog and let you share it with your team directly. So you don't have to worry about copying the hyperlink. It creates that hyperlink and put it there. You can tag certain people. It's just available there. There is one more thing on Teams, I guess, or on the integration side that they added in assisted setup, which is that there is a separate section created for all these kind of setups. Okay, let me see where it is. I guess this is it. Yeah. So if you have to do a Teams app centralized deployment, you can do that from here for all your users, which will just set up the app on your Teams for Business Central, and it allows you to pop up the apps and all. Then on the similar lines, they have added Excel add-in centralized deployment and Outlook add-in centralized deployment, because some people had problems in past to set it up. So now they have created these wizards to help you to configure Excel add-in deployment as well as Outlook add-in, which helps you in editing in Excel and all those features. So those were around the Microsoft Teams integration. As I'm pretty sure Teams have more to provide, and that we'll see that in future. This is super cool. Transactional installation of and sync of extension on prem. So like this is more related to the second one, which is the force sync. So in on-prem, while using PowerShell, you can do a sync and install at the same time going forward. Right now, it's only limited on Dockers, but on coming in BC19, you will be able to sync and install it with the same command. There will be a Boolean added, like it is available for the Dockers at this moment. And let me open PowerShell to show you what I'm saying. So when you look at this command for, let me zoom this in, for publish nav app in publish app, BC container app, you will see that there are multiple options available together where you provide the app file, then you can install as well as you can sync it at the same time. So for an on-prem, that's an option which will be available during, when you have to deploy an extension on your customer tenant. Now this one is super good and I actually want to give it a try. So let me open VS Code. So assuming that this is being done for a Business Central SaaS customer where you cannot change things once you build it. So if I create a table, let's say 50100, and this is my test table. Okay. And I have my field as integer. Let's keep it as it is. And I have one more field as my boolean, as boolean. Now till Business Central 14, if you have done something like this for your SaaS customer and you ran through your pipeline or whatever your company's process are, and you build this extension like this, you get this extension. Now what you do is you go ahead and copy that path and go to your Business Central environment in SaaS, navigate to extension management. And this is just for SaaS, and go here and say manage upload extension, pick that file, this one, and now here is a sync schema mode. Now this is equivalent to what we used to have in on-prem in the older versions. Do you want to add, which is sync, and do you want to do a force sync? And you need to be very careful what you're using, because as soon as you choose force, it gives you a warning that the data may get lost. So make sure that you have tested it. And I'll show you what that means. So I'll keep it no right now and I'll keep it at, because this is the first time. And I'll deploy this. So this will get added in here in a while. Filter this out. The publisher is not Microsoft. It's coming up, will come in a while. But let's say you talk to a customer and they say, everything looks good, I don't need this field. Now that was a limitation in Business Central SaaS, that you cannot remove a full field because there was destructive changes were not allowed in SaaS. I'm pretty sure people will understand who I work there. But now you can remove this or comment this. In SaaS, the rule is that you will have to have a higher version of the same app if you're publishing it again. And I'm just removing this field. I'm building the app again. So this is my higher app where the field has been removed. Now, till Business Central 18, still in progress. Time. You cannot deploy that extension, the version 2 extension, which I'm right now building, because there was a destructive. It failed. Okay, let's see. Oh, I didn't have permission. Now this is what happens when I don't connect it to my, I don't connect the code cops. I'm pretty sure it's permission. Okay, detail. Yes, missing permission set. So let's go back here and let's enable it again. And let's add the permissions. You should not be doing this going forward. This model is going away for permissions, but we can discuss about it someday. Okay, so the package is created. Let's go ahead and try to deploy this again. And I didn't use the version 1. Still add, accept it, deploy this. Okay. So while this is happening, let's comment this again. And in our app.json, let's change it to 2. Okay. So if you try to deploy this app with a sync mode as add, this will fail, the 002, because there is a destructive change. So the only way in Business Central SaaS is to have it done via force. So this is completed. We'll see it here. Here it is. Now, if I try to do an upload extension of the new version, which is my version 2, and I don't choose force here, it will try to run the publish, the sync, and it'll fail because there is a destructive change. But if you know what you're changing as as a developer, you understand that this is what they need, and you have tested it on the sandbox and understand the data loss, then you can choose the force option, which is available now, which was not available in the past. Now, as I'm saying this, I'll just give you a brief idea about what will happen if things are not done correctly. So if I'm removing a field which is not part of my primary key of the table, then only that field data will be lost. If I'm trying to change the primary key, which changes the whole table, then your table data will be lost completely. So even if this feature is available for SaaS customer to have a destructive change for pertinent extension, do test it on sandboxes before you actually do it. Don't do it just because it exists. Make sure you have tested it by creating sandboxes and verified it that what kind of data is being lost by going into table information and seeing what's happening when I do this. Then and only then run it. It's like a sword. How you use it, it depends on what kind of output you will get. So I have this which failed, which I expected. So if I see why it failed, or it's still happening, okay, it'll fail in a while. It'll tell me that there was a destructive change, which I cannot support because you chose the mode as add. So, sorry, this is taking a while. Okay, it failed. Let's go in there. Let's see. And it says could not upgrade the extension to 2 due to the field my boolean cannot be located. Removing field is not allowed with a schema mode of add. So the only way to deploy my extension is to select that file again, these two, and choose it force. And Microsoft does their bit by showing you an error message. Then are you sure you want to make a force change? And there can be data loss. Choose yes and deploy this. Behind the scene in your SQL server at Microsoft end, that field will get deleted and the version 2 will be available in a while here. Any questions on this one before we move ahead?
Can this be managed, the change of primary key through upgrade code unit?
Yes. You can move the data into a temporary table for a while, right? You can copy the data. using upgrade code unit. And then after your extension is deployed, you can move data back in a new way. That's how Microsoft also does it, right? I'm not sure it can be done in one go. I'll have to see the possibilities of what is available now, and let's give it a quick try. I create a T code unit, and if the subtype is of type upgrade, I'm not sure what kind of functions are available now. Okay. On check precondition or database, sorry, on upgrade per company, there is no sync option. So you can't, like in on-prem, there is a separate trigger available, which is for data sync, right? Where you can move that data temporarily, but you can surely do it before the data run, as in the installation run, to make sure that data moves out to a temporary table that is part of your extension, and then you'll have to write the separate code to move that data back into the base, into that actual table. But that's possible, not in a way that we were able to do it in Dynamics Nav. I'm hoping that comes back. That was a cool method. Still in progress, but yeah, this one will get deployed in a while. But this is, use it with caution. Don't just start deleting fields, because that will actually cause the data loss. Okay, let's pick one last one before we end for today. Okay, one cool thing I saw on, and I'm super fascinated with email capabilities with Business Central. So what they have done in this version for that area is, if I have to, I'm pretty sure I haven't set up the email accounts and all, but if I try to send an email here for this, which I for some reason cannot find. Okay. We all have seen it something like this, and it generates. Okay, no, I'll have to set up that account. Okay, maybe we'll see it next day. On the Role Explorer, which is a page which initially was set that it is beta, but now it doesn't seem to be beta. When you go into this menu, which I don't know how many users use it now, but there are more options added now, which is they have clubbed all the reports into reports and analysis, which are in different areas, so they can see what reports they have in different areas. So all the reports, most of the reports which are there, I'm pretty sure are added into this, in this new menu of report analysis, and same they have added for administration, which shows you different admin tasks. But I'm pretty sure now people are, are liking the search feature. I'm not sure who will actually come and find a report here. But that's what that one item about discovering reports and administration area in Control Center is about. We'll continue this discussion next week and see what else is there. But any other thoughts or anything that I should focus before we meet next time on these new features? Okay. So if nothing, then let's meet next week, and I'll continue looking into Business Center 19 for next week, and we'll discuss about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Saurabh.
Thank you, Saurabh.
Thanks.
If you start
Thank
the
you.
development thing,
Thank you.
main.
Thanks, Saurabh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Saurabh. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I posted that link.
Oh yeah. Thank you, sir. I'll have a look. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next week. Bye.